Hail, O legions of the new year. Hail, O mighty fiery angels of the goddess of opportunity. I have come to earth to ensoul a planet and a people with their divine destiny. I come with the magnet of the sacred fire, once again to try to implant the ardor, the fervor, the magnitude of light that will draw to each soul the awakening of the Buddha. The very process of the awakening of the Buddha, my beloved, is something which registers across a cosmos. My beloved souls of freedom, realize that in the infinite span of cosmos, the awakening process registers upon all sentient life. Those who know the meaning of the awakening also respond, for in the awakening is the infusion of the temple with the fullness of the Godhead. Those who know I am awake and watchful, those who know that Christos lives in cosmos, but have already denied their own opportunity to be among the enlightened ones, also listen with the ear to the sounds of the earth body, and they tremble for fear each time the awakening occurs. It is therefore in anticipation of the awakening ones that the arch deceivers have determined to destroy before that moment. It is actually a moment of extreme and excruciating pain for the deniers of reality to be aware of the light, the intense light that enters the matter sphere in this hour. Thus abortion and every other attempt to silence the senses, to silence the soul's sensitivities, to cut off the channels of awareness to higher octaves, to cut off the chakras as receiving centers of the magnitude of the stars, is attempted and plotted by these sub-divine manifestations that are even less than human itself. Beware then that the awakening process does not necessarily occur in the twinkling of an eye, but the process of awakening may come in an evolutionary manner as spiritually evolving child man takes in more and more of the spheres of light of the cosmos. You have noticed this in your own lifespan, and you can remember moments of great awareness and then an increase of the continuous consciousness of God with you. Some of you aspire to that continuity of divine consciousness and wonder when it will ever come. And others have an ongoing relationship with the angelic hosts that scarcely leaves off from that flame of God happiness. Therefore, you see, it is not merely an opposition to a moment, but it becomes the opposition to many lifetimes of the Bodhisattva becoming the Buddha, and the devotees of Mary becoming themselves wise virgins, vessels trimmed with the holy oil of spiritual gladness and the nectar of the crown chakra. I come to celebrate opportunity and all the Lady Masters of Heaven who are very near to earth and the children of the light as teachers and as comforters. This is the year of the woman, in the sense of the reality of the Divine Mother appearing through many peepholes of cosmos, beloved Venus and Meta, Kuan Yin, Nada, beloved Portia and the goddess of liberty, the beloved Queen of Light, the goddess of purity, the precious goddess of light. So the great brooding mother, the great universal spirit, appears likewise in many garments to teach her children. The ladies of heaven are following the rays of the sun to the very heart of the inner retreat, to the heart of your own threefold flame. And therefore wisdom will teach her children, and the mother flame will assist the mighty work of the ascended masters, as it has not occurred with such intensity or dispensation from beloved Omega herself in many a year. Therefore we anticipate exposés by our chelas, tuning into the mind of the Universal Virgin, who is concerned for her children and for the light of the aquamarine ray that descends from the heart of God as an invincible fount of cosmic purity, to quicken those inner soul receptivities, to heal any and all invasions of the 5 bands of the secret rays that now must surely be mastered by the most advanced chelas. For these are membranes and chambers in themselves that surround the heart and contain vessels of consciousness of Elohim for the resounding of the light of the heart, the sound of the heart, the movement of the heart. Understand that I unveil to you a function of the 5 secret rays as 5 concentric spheres, each one transmitting to the other a certain portion of the alpha to omega light of the nucleus. And therefore, the very creation itself hangs upon the immensity of a science unborn in the outer spheres, a vastness of the universe, a vibration, a resonance, and a quality that must remain somewhat undefined. I bring this to your attention so that you will realize that the experimentation of geneticists and the probings of life, the attempt to distort in all ways, has always been pursued with a vehemence of those who would take this heaven by force. For within the 5 secret rays are truly the secrets of creation. And when children of the light do not guard themselves, do not guard the physical heart or the subtle levels of the heart chakra, when they leave themselves wide open to probings by their own hardness of heart, their own prideful vulnerability, and a dense ignorance, born not only of human will, but also of Nephilim engineering, then you see, as with the fetal experiments that have occurred in recent years, the fallen ones take full advantage of the absence of protection of the heart, physically and spiritually, and they probe and continue to probe to wrest the secrets that they would know, somehow to endow their creation with a substance of personality in imitation of the creation of the soul. The soul is born in the nucleus of the central sun and gains identity initially in the 5 secret rays. And therefore you see, unless there be made calls for the protection of mighty cosmos secret rays in manifestation in earth, it will not be possible for the karmic board to release further light or a momentum of light that should be the very possession of all followers of God. Were we to release this light to embodied mankind prematurely before they had even a semblance of mastery of the seven rays, we would only be passing easily into the hands of the seed of the wicked more opportunity to discover more of the hidden mysteries of God. The mysteries of co-creation with the Almighty are actually that which belong to the sons of God. They belong to the Christed ones incarnate. But as with the secrets of nuclear science and invention, which have so easily passed into the hands of the enemy, this also would become something that would be the common property of those who in themselves have no life in them. Therefore, beloved, because of the circumstances of earth, the wide gaps and ranges between the evolutions, the sense that is missing, whereby individuals ought to protect and cherish the greatest gifts of God which they have been given, the karmic board is forced, therefore, to limit the release of light as well as the release of the teaching. You, my beloved, in your outer consciousness, also suffer the consequences of this planetary condition, in that we cannot put upon the ethers by our spoken word, even into your hearts, a secret knowledge of that which would be most helpful in your own protection, in the bringing forth of children, and in the building of the inner retreat. I come to you then with an alternative to the dilemma, and that is that you call upon your Christ self and your I am presence to manifest the full powers of the secret rays within the spheres surrounding your heart, and that these 5 spheres be sealed in a cloak of invisibility, invincibility, and invulnerability, and be set by a mighty whirling blue sphere that cannot ever be touched by those who have less than the fullness of the presence of the Christ consciousness and its mastery. I ask that you call for the assistance of the 5 secret rays and their manifestation in your life for the purposes of your own ascension, your own enlightenment, and your own service, and that you grant unto the Elohim of the 5 secret rays entrance into your world, stating that you are not requesting to have the full knowledge and awareness of the complexities of the science and mathematics of the process, that you are content to remain the holy innocence and in the mode of child man, and to know only fully in the divine awareness at the etheric octave and the ascended master octave what will one day become the right of the sons of God in the golden age, when the judgment prophesied by Enoch shall have come to pass, and the descent of the holy city shall be made plain. I call this to your attention so that you may see that the Lady Masters of heaven, who have the dispensation for a mighty release of light in this new year, work especially with the 5 secret rays, for these are involved within the formation of the child within the womb, and the visualization of the 5 bands of light within that womb and around the nucleus of the one that is being formed is most important for meditation of parents during the period of the gestation attending the birth of the newborn child. Your decree to mighty cosmos secret rays can afford much, especially when you know what you are calling for and when you have an expectancy of its manifestation and a dedication as a master alchemist, not as an apprentice, but as a master alchemist to the guarding of the secrets vouchsafed to you in the secret chamber of the Most High God. Therefore I, Sanat Kumara, have come to you this first day of the new year according to your keeping of the cycles of time, to inaugurate opportunity, life cycles, and an open door of fulfillment of all that must come to pass. I have looked forward to this moment when I could bring to you and allow you to feel the presence of my own Buddhic consciousness as the guru to the evolutions of Earth and Venus and other planetary homes. I am the Ancient of Days, and my mission with the evolutions of Venus, which are your own life streams as well, and with Helios and Vesta, anchors through the Lord of the world, Gautama Buddha. With the presence of beloved Gautama, I am free to go to the great central sun and to carry therefrom great vials of light and cosmic purpose, which I may then bring for the reinforcement of your service and your sacred labor. We have said the time is short. It is indeed short against the backdrop of cosmic cycles. But then all anyone ever needs is enough. Enough time, enough of the substance of life, enough. One may contemplate the abundance of the universe, but when there is the austerity of moving straight toward the goal, more than enough becomes burdensome in the journey. Therefore, in the inner octaves of light, we have prepared the table in the wilderness. We have prepared the table that is the feast of light. And so the fruit of the tree of life is spread this day. Some of you have seen the scenes of the Last Supper with the Lord Christ presiding. Now visualize the same archetypal pattern of the Last Supper. There I am seated, and those whom are my apostles with me, who come as representatives of all of the chelas of the planets. And there upon the table, there is the fruit that is to be given not by the chela to the guru, but by the guru to the chela. It is the fruit of the tree of life, beloved hearts. The fruit of the tree of life whereby man may eat thereof and live forever. This is the initiation of Lord Maitreya. Once this fruit is partaken of, that one contains the seed of immortality, and none can turn it back. Therefore it is given to those who are called to this supper, and therefore it is given by way of anchoring in the physical octave, the flame of immortality in those souls of light who must henceforth walk the earth, having the living flame of immortality within them. It is my determination to apprise you of the fact that such an initiation does exist. And when, therefore, the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is partaken of without the initiation of Maitreya in the garden, it results in a descent into relativity from which, therefore, the creation must be rescued. I am certain that you realize that it is a widespread belief on earth today that truth, with a capital T, cannot be known. And therefore, one must only deal in the relative and according to the circumstances of life to arrive at least some view of truth that will become practical for the human level. Beloved hearts, this belief that the absolute of perfection, of truth, of love, of will, of the mind of God, of healing, cannot be understood or contemplated or contained by embodied mankind, is the greatest lie that I know of, because from it proceeds the belief in the serpent consciousness that wisdom is of the relative plane, wisdom comes from learning, or wisdom comes from a false initiation of the false hierarchy, which gives the fruit of knowledge to those who have not yet received the initiation of Maitreya, whereby they are the Christed ones in embodiment and can therefore contain human knowledge and not be overcome by it and not be colored by it. There is a time and a place when one can see the things of this world and not be moved, because one contains the fullness of that Christ majesty, that Christ awareness in such blazing reality that not for a moment does one lose perspective by contemplating whether the wonders or the degradations of human science and human knowledge. Mankind then have prematurely eaten of this fruit, fed to them by the impostors of Lord Maitreya, the fallen angels of Jophiel's bands. Understand then that one must have regained the Christ consciousness to its fullness and be ready to eat of the fruit of the I Am presence, which does bestow eternal life, to receive the fruit which I give at this supper this day, first day of the new year, according to your reckoning, 1983. Beloved hearts, it is well that you strive to receive this initiation, which I will give but once a year to those who are ready. Understand, therefore, that the temptations of serpent as Satan to Jesus must be seen for what they are, not merely writings in Scripture, but things which you come in contact with daily. The subtle sense of superiority of the solutions of life offered by mechanization man, these must be denounced and renounced. And the fervor within your heart and the fire that burns must be commensurate with that of the prophets and the adepts of old. You must take care against outer rigidity and outer fanaticism. Though the inner self be steely white, there must be a resilience and a certain flexibility and mobility in the outer sense of dealing with life and interacting with it. You may have the strongest sense of the Immaculate Heart, yet when speaking with others, they should scarcely know that you are even a devotee on the path. You see, one compromises the mastery of the 5 secret rays by making known to anyone the elements that comprise that path. This is why Jesus warned that one should fast in secret, should do one's praying in a closet, the closet of the secret rays, and therefore not reveal to those who are not on the path and those who are envious of that light the very process of the awakening itself. You then come in your higher self as one of the flames of the world mother. You take on the person of mother in your Christ consciousness, and you come into your temple from above to mother your own soul and to lead your soul in the way of prayer and fasting and whatever disciplines of the 5 secret rays you may perceive and have revealed to you by attunement with beloved Omega. The soul then responding begins to be as an electron whirling round and round and round about the 5 spheres of the 5 secret rays that surround the heart. The great mystery of the electron is that in the cloud of substance that is the force field of its manifestation, it is not entirely tracked by outer eye. It is, in fact, a law of life that by the needle of the mind of God, this electron at carefully synchronized intervals, passes directly through the nucleus and comes out again into orbit, as though it were making a journey to the great central sun. Thus the electrons of the atoms may have a certain amount of recharging within the very force field of the matter universe. Prior to the grand ritual of the rotation, when the electrons and the atoms as well return to the great central sun for repolarization. Therefore, beloved, your soul may be conceived of as this identity that, in accelerating its revolutions around the sun of the heart chakra, may gain in self-awareness an internal awareness of what is the path of the secret rays. It is not necessary, and indeed not wise, to attempt to articulate this path, but rather to grow in the grace and be an emanating light center for that inner light. And the secret rays themselves, in answer to your call for that anonymity and that sealing action, will release the benefit of your God mastery without releasing the very secrets of the process itself. Thus, beloved, remember the first steps. Remember the path of the 7 rays and pursue these diligently as you would practice your scales on the piano daily if you were even a virtuoso and a concert pianist. There is a certain going over of the basic truths and the basic rituals that must be engaged in. These you teach to students and to those who are new in their acquaintance with the ascended masters. All the while you keep and guard in the chamber of the heart and in the tower of your own point of worship that ongoing self-awareness that comes from the within. It has been my desire to make plain to you this day that there are some solutions to the problems of life and some prophecies which we may not release in dictations nor in the printed word, but which must come directly to your heart. Saint Germain has promised you, who give the violet flame diligently, that you will hear his voice. And I tell you, I, Sanat Kumara, am in direct relationship to your own life stream. There are things you must know that you must know only from within and that you must not speak of. For it is well known with the activities of international intrigue that this activity, as well as any other in the avant-garde of world change, is subject from time to the probes of those who are not dedicated to the light. We fear not. They have never in all eternity succeeded in scaling the heights of heaven or dethroning the Godhead, and they never will. Thus rest secure in your heart and realize that ultimately in your heart are the secrets of all of life and all that you require to mount the mountain of victory. For this reason, avatars in the past have not so much spoken, but they have acted. And those who then observe the actions of the messenger may also interpret or attempt to do so what is the reason behind the action. I ask you then to become perceptive and discriminating, observing in the direction which the messenger takes, in the course that she follows, in the goals for the activity. If you will simply make yourself one with her mantle, whithersoever the Lamb goeth, so go the 140,000. This is understandable. It is the dance of cosmos. The movement of the sun magnetizes the planets, and the galaxies continue to orbit the central sun, though the central sun itself be moving, as it were, across infinity. Thus there is a grand parade of beings of great light of cosmos, who have the internal awareness of God, and yet that awareness unexpressed becomes a oneness and a harmony whereby the body of God, almost silently as the silence of space, moves onward to the infinite goal. Realize then that our teaching may be expressed not so much in word, but in the action of the messenger and in the deeds of the chelas, the deeds of the noble knights and the ladies of the flame. We understand one another, we understand cosmic purpose, and we will not cast our pearls before the profane of the world. But those who understand that the pearl itself is the symbol of the causal body will realize that layer upon layer of the pearl is the revelation of the secret of life. Lady Venus joins me now with your beloved Lanello in a very precious moment that is precious to our hearts. For whether known or unknown by the blessed instruments, there has come forth out of your midst a keeper of the flame who has had upon him the mantle of the cosmic artist and of Paul the Venetian, and the fervor of devotion within his heart, the God determination to execute our will of a life-size portrait of your beloved messenger. This portrait, unbeknownst to the messenger, was never appointed or commissioned simply for the purpose of the glory of the outer, but it has been our desire and design to establish this life-size focus of her in her office as my representative of the flying eagle and the guru on the 6 o'clock line, here in Southern California, here at Camelot, until all should be fulfilled. I therefore invite the most blessed Ray Brown and Ruth Brown to bring now to the altar the work of their hearts and hands. I ask for the unveiling of the portrait. In the name of Almighty God, I, Sanat Kumara, now ensoul this painting with my own force field and presence, and with the causal body of the twin flames of the messenger. It embodies the office of Guru and of the Mother as Savioress to the light bearers of earth. It embodies the flame of the mighty sword of the judgment and the full power of the Brotherhood of Sirius, anchored through the mighty eagle. Now there coalesces within this painting that light that shall be the focus for the holding of the balance here until all be fulfilled. This painting is to be hung at the 6 o'clock line of the sanctuary, opposite the chart of the presence, above the door of exit. And therefore you will see that opposite the chart, the woman therefore holds the balance of the I am presence in matter. All of you then who look upon this may take this image to your heart and to your soul and receive it as an image of yourself as mother, yourself as part of the one body of God, yourself as you are one with mother in the Guru-Chela relationship and therefore one with me. It is a painting of the messenger. It is also a painting of myself, but I appear as the sun behind the sun. I appear in the person of the eagle, in the person of the great causal body, and in the focuses of light that you see. Directly through the heart chakra pours the light of Venus. Let this then be a focus of the meditation of an office and of one who has worn it well. Let it therefore not be attention upon an outer personality, for it is not a portrait of an outer person, but of the inner Christ of your own beloved. This magnificent work, executed and fulfilled against all of the temptations and the opposition of the powers of darkness, executed by Ray, for whom Ruth held the balance and the love and the vision, is that which you may understand as an initiation taken upon themselves by Chelas, who received this directly from my heart, for the messenger never requested or had any requirement of having for herself a portrait. And therefore, with great surprise and wonder and ongoing expectation, this work has been accomplished. And yet, it was hidden so much so in the secret rays of the hearts of these devotees that even Mother herself did not have her attention upon it for many long months. In the name I am that I am, it is sealed in the light of my heart, and it is the physical focus, therefore, for your own entering into the path of the secret rays and into the heart of the inner retreat. Keepers of the flame worldwide, Chelas of my heart, I commend you to the keeping of the Universal Virgin, who is the sun behind the sun of every manifestation of life, including the Mother. May you rejoice and be glad, for in this image you see a forerunner of the intense action of the physical stepping through the veil, not only of the ascended masters, but of your own Christ self. For truly, the physical painting itself is a promise that your own Christ self, just above you, stands also waiting to step through the veil, And you, the artist, must be so dedicated, similarly in this fashion, to bring forth the perfect painting of that Christ in flesh, and of the authority of that Christ, and of the scepter, of the sword, of the book of the law. And to you, beloved hearts, beloved Ray and Ruth, I, Sanat Kumara, promise you my love and protection all the days of your life, until you also fulfill the promise which you have brought forth and which is the key to your own ascension. May you also respond to the movement of the messenger. Beloved hearts of living fire, I, Sanat Kumara, seal you with the hand that has held the fruit of the tree of life and bears yet its vibration. Therefore, the sealing with the hand that is the bearer of the fruit is the beginning of the process of your own preparation to partake thereof and live forever. May this be your goal. May this be your joy. In the name of the cosmic host, in the name of our Father, our Son, our Holy Spirit, and our Mother, Om Buddha.